What I've actually realized is it's not about trying to serve everyone. Like, remember when we started, we essentially followed that quote of we're not for everyone, we're for someone. Not for everyone, we're for someone. If you have all little gyms and you have cafes or workshops or whatever it is set up, spread around the coast, and everyone chooses what community they get to be a part of, you're doing your part in making people feel like they belong to something. And that's what I think it's about, is like, we're not going to serve every single individual on the coast. It's not feasible. It's not going to work. But if you can focus on a small group of people and really focus on making that the best community that you can and make them feel like they're seen, heard, they feel like they belong, I think we're doing our part. It's like our door and the entry to our gym is a neutralizer for hierarchy and power.
100%.
So like, we have people who are world-class athletes training there and people who are everyday gym goers or individual family-orientated individual who just wants to lose a bit of weight. But on that gym floor, they're not perceived as any differently. They speak on the same level. And I think that's what we're doing really, really well. When you break down and you strip it back, a big part of what people care about is just belonging, of just like feeling like they can be on the same level, of feeling like there's no hierarchy of like, oh, well, I'm training next to that person, but I can't talk to them, or they're doing better than me, so like, therefore I'm less than them. There's nothing of that. And I don't think we ever create that either.
The power of community, Jaden.
Massive. It's everything.
It is everything, especially for a business like ours.
Well, it's run on community, isn't it? That's why we opened the gym and we're doing what we're doing at the moment.
I actually spoke to one of our members, Matt, last week about this. And I just said, it's so cool to see how everything's flowing. And he actually identified, and he was just like, it comes from the top. Like, it comes from you guys running this space in the way that you are, which bleeds into the community itself, and I was pretty taken back by that, because it is so cool to see a vision that you put in place now over a year ago, more, with this ideal sort of setup and vibe in the community, and it's there now. So to us, it is everything, for sure.
I think it really does come under, I don't want to make it sound transactional, but it does really come under the business model that you choose to run too. So we focused on quality, not quantity. So we didn't go down the commercial road. We didn't go down the franchise road of, there's nothing wrong with that. But like, I think the more you build in terms of the quantity, and especially at like a high rate. So for example, you can go and sign up at a commercial gym, pay X amount of money, and you just go there and train. You come in, you do your thing, and you leave. In terms of the community that builds, is very, very low, but accessibility, cheap, everything's very high. That's fine. Like, that's what you want. But we went down the avenue of quality over quantity. So what I've actually realized is it's not about trying to serve everyone. Like, remember when we started, we essentially followed that quote of we're not for everyone, we're for someone. Not for everyone, we're for someone. And I think we've really started going down that road because there's so many people in the world. There's so many people on the coast. Like, we've got, I don't know, like, how many members now?
Coming on 65 now.
65. So we're going one in process. We hit our 50 membership cap, which is amazing, still flowing well. So we've been just slowly trickling in, but 65 still flowing well. But I'm like, that's 65 people. 65 out of, I don't know, 350,000 people on the coast. It's not that many people. But if you have all little gyms and you have cafes or workshops or whatever it is set up, spread around the coast, and everyone chooses what community they get to be a part of, you're doing your part in making people feel like they belong to something.
Yep.
And that's what I think it's about, is like, we're not going to serve every single individual on the coast. It's not feasible. It's not going to work. And the value system is never going to be the same. But if you can focus on a small group of people and really focus on making that the best community that you can and make them feel like they're seen, heard, they feel like they belong, I think we're doing our part. And that's what I've shifted my mindset on now, is as opposed to focusing on how can I have everyone there, it's a matter of let's focus on the people who are there and double down on them and make them feel like they're a part of it.
Yeah, fuck. It's so funny you say that, because I've had the exact same shift. And I feel like we haven't even really spoken about this. It's just kind of happened. But I've never liked the idea of like niching, because with my original business, like my online coaching and my PT and stuff, like I knew that I could appeal to so many different types of people. So that was kind of the model I took. Like I didn't shut people out because they weren't doing the type of training that I loved and all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to put myself out there to as many people as possible. But with our gym, at the start, it was similar. I still had this idea that like with our coaching experience, we can appeal to a range of people that want to train in different ways. But I understand it now. Like I really understand creating a space for people, a specific type of person that's coming in, and it's like, it's the vibe that's doing that.
It's the vibe.
Yeah. Like that's what I feel like we've worked our asses off to do. And once you get the ball rolling, I feel like it kind of snowballs where everyone's a part of the vibe. So when you go into a class now, or you go into the gym in an afternoon, like, which we're going to get to, like people in there fucking fist bumping each other, people are having chats with each other. There's people that haven't even met each other prior to that week, and they're, getting to know each other a little bit more. So it is like, I really understand now the feeling versus trying to just appeal to a certain niche of people.
It's like our door and the entry to our gym is a neutralizer for hierarchy and power.
Yep, 100%.
So like we have people who are world-class athletes training there, and people who are everyday gym goers, or a family-orientated individual who just wants to lose a bit of weight. But on that gym floor, they're not perceived as any differently. They speak on the same level. And I think that's what we're doing really, really well, is because there are places where there's a massive hierarchy happening. Like there's a hierarchy of what people think they are. There's hierarchies of where people actually are, like where they stand in, semi-professional, professional places. Again, that's fine. Like that's what they do. But I think that's what we've done really well, is when you break down and you strip it back, a big part of what people care about is just belonging.
Yep.
Of just like feeling like they can be on the same level, of feeling like there's no hierarchy of like, oh, well, I'm training next to that person, but I can't talk to them, or they're doing better than me, so like therefore I'm less than them. There's nothing of that, and I don't think we ever create that either. Well, we train on the gym floor at the same time as people. We're still having the same conversations. We're doing all the same things, regardless of what weight we're doing, regardless of what time we run.
And I think the coaches, I'm so proud of that, the coaches bring that as well. If there's an area that I'm not as confident in, I know I can throw it to yourself, or it might be weightlifting specific. So Pierso will come in and provide his knowledge in that area, or maybe they need that female touch and Claire's there, So I think there's no egos between us as a group. And I think that stems really nicely into the gym as well, of like, we might be in there picking up some heavy ass weight, but where this other person's at, like that's still fucking awesome. Like that's heavy for them, or like it's relative, and everyone's just getting around each other and supporting each person for where they're at that time.
Yeah,
which I love.
I think we're sending a message of what people's perceived idea of what a gym will feel like in that hierarchy. We're trying to break that, and we're trying to send a very clear message of when you walk into our space, there's no higher or lower. Like you are on the same level.
Yep.
Whatever you choose to aim for in terms of your goals, it's completely individualized. They're just as important as what someone else is on.
Yeah, mad example is like Benny came into the gym when I was pulling that big deadlift, and he was like, I think he was just on the outside of the gym. And he walked in, he was like, what the fuck's going on? Because you could hear everyone yelling and like telling me to pick it up, And I was like watching him train, and like, dude, he went onto his squat pattern, and he's been with us for, I don't know, it must be over 3 months now. But just to see his movement proficiency getting so much better, like I just had a chat to him and I let him know, because I was like, not everything is about what weight you pick up or how you look or all that sort of stuff. It's like, you're getting so much better because you're putting the effort and showing up for yourself day in, day out. And I love that. I just love seeing people get after it, like committing to themselves and getting after it, but then actually seeing progression come from that, which is the intention. Like you're trying to be better.
That's what I mean. When we set certain standards for ourselves and for the gym, but like when you set a standard of what's impressive, in terms of like numbers that you do,
right?
It's relative, right? Exactly right. Like what's impressive? Like what gives you access to a different part of the gym? What gives you access to be able to grunt versus not grunt? Like all these things, what is it? Where is it? Where does it lie? Because this is what I mean. There's like this unspoken force that sits, and especially around places where they don't have that community feeling, that people are afraid of, and they go, oh, well, like I shouldn't be training here because I can't lift this weight. And it's like, but says who? Where does that line sit? What's considered impressive? Like, are you going off relative strength? Are you going off absolute strength? Are you going off range of motion? Are you going off not making a noise? Like what does it even look like? And that's why I think what we've done so well is it has no look. It's completely perceived and it's subjective to the individual of like what feels good for them.
Yeah.
And what's good for them will look completely different from the other person. Guess what? You're both right.
Yeah. And everyone's accepting of that.
Yeah, everyone's accepting, 100%.
Have you ever not had what we've built?
100%. That's the 1,000,000% driving factor as to why we do what we do. And there are times, like for example, when I went away to Bali, we trained in the gym. Amazing gym, amazing equipment, like the setup, everything, cleaners all the time. Every half an hour, there's people in there cleaning every piece of equipment you want. Vibe, shit house. Absolute shit house. But hated it.
Yeah.
Hated every part of it. And this was like, we considered ourselves more of a premium gym with our pricing and our service. I think for the week I paid nearly $200.
Yeah, fuck.
Like it wasn't cheap. So this is like looking at premium. I tried to talk to a few people in there and they full barred me. Like you can even ask PSO when we're there. Like they barred me. Like I asked to jump in on a set with someone and they looked at me like I was fucking crazy. And I was like, in my head, I was like, bro, like I own a gym. Like I get how this shit runs.
Yeah.
And being made to feel like that, I'm like, this sucks, man.
And that's someone coming from a position of, you're right, like you're in the industry, you're in the space.
It's a second home. Like gym's a second home for me. Like people I know so many people are so intimidated to walk into the gyms. I can walk into any gym and feel pretty comfortable. I know how everything works. I'm good. But I felt shit in there. I felt intimidated. I don't even want to go and train. And something that I love doing when I'm away is training to keep me on track and keep those habits. I ended up doing 2 workouts. One, I went and just hit the bag for like half an hour and just did some Muay Thai stuff.
Thinking about the dude that brushed you on, jumped in for a set,
give him one of them little elbows. And the other one was a conditioning piece outside just because I didn't want to be in there. Like I chose to be outside of it, even though I paid $200 or $170, whatever, than being inside because the vibe was shit house. Like no one was talking to anyone and it was just...
Think about that from the position of someone that doesn't have training experience or maybe has been training for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and how nervous and intimidated they would feel going in there. And then all their fucking beliefs are reaffirmed when they go in there like, oh, like this is intimidating.
Yep, this sucks. I felt like there was a hierarchy there, man. Like it felt like I was looking at people and I was like, well, I definitely wouldn't be able to talk to him. I wouldn't be able to say anything to her. She doesn't want any bar of anything. And in my head, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like all those feelings come back. And it was the same when I used to train at a commercial gym before I opened the gym as well. Like I used to go there just as like getting away from the gym that I worked at and having your own space. But like I talked to a few people here and there, but it sucked too. Like I was actively trying to be more friendly when people walk past and they like barred me. And then I was like, fuck, I'm a weirdo. Like I'm the weirdo at the gym. And I was like, nah, like I was like, this is bullshit. I'm just like trying to be nice. And then it happened all the time, but
I just had a funny flashback. I was walking through Sydney the other weekend going to an AFL game and like we're in this heaps quiet street. And there was like this Sydney, there were a couple, maybe 30s, walking past with their dog. And then it was just myself, Gabby, my sister, and my brother's girlfriend. And walking past and like it's a quiet street. Like, so I was like, g'day, we're going past each other. I was like, g'day, how you going? And she just goes, and she just kept walking straight past me.
Nah.
I was like, what the fuck?
It takes more energy to actively think of not saying anything.
100%.
Your mind goes into a complete reactive state when if someone says hello to you, you say hello or you go hey or something back.
Yeah.
You have to go, oh, I'm going to say hey, and then you go, wait, no, I'm not. You have to like
change. Yeah, 100%. I'm never going to change myself in that situation because like I am who I am.
No, like it
I'll
sucks.
say hey to anyone.
You know, I'm going to put this in the category of clapping on a plane. This is tying in with this, right? Clapping on a plane, right? Is when you let someone in with traffic and they don't fucking wave.
That's fucking horrible. I
put the hand up, brother, in between the mirror.
But I think the only appropriate way is window down, bang. Like that's when you're going
a couple of fingers.
You're going, I'm fucking really appreciative of you back here.
I just, man, actively went to put my window down. You chuck the 3 fingers out, the thumb and the 2. Yeah. The quick little flick.
One, like you're number one. That's what I'm saying to that person behind me. You are number one.
Bang, quick flick, and they give you the one back as well. That's what I've been working on too, is giving it back.
Yeah, I like that.
Because like sometimes you can play a little bit and you go, oh, like, thank you. Like you put up the hand in the mirror and then you look in the mirror and you see it and then they're just standing, like just still driving. They don't do anything. You're like, they let me in, but they're fucking pissed.
Yeah.
So then you're like, I don't even know if I'm like kind of happy that you let me in now,
I
because
like the idea of throwing one back.
you throw one back, like you're on the steering wheel, right? You're like cruising like
It's
this.
just a finger.
It's just the couple up, like
Yeah.
that.
Just, all the troopy guys do it when
two
troopies
fingers.
drive past each other.
2 fingers. It's like an unspoken agreement.
I think that's great, actually, because there's times in life where you lose a bit of faith in humanity. You see shit happen, or something on the news, you know, people bashing old people and stuff, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what the actual fuck?
They're the kind of
going
people
on?
who don't wave.
They're the kind of people that don't wave starters.
Yeah.
But a great way to build just a bit of camaraderie and like bit of kindness in the world, you throw one to say thanks, throw it back.
Bang.
I think throwing it back's a good shout.
It's simple footy, man.
And so I'm implementing from this week.
It's simple footy. I've just never understood why people can't put the hand up. Like, again, it's more energetic here. Yep, let them in. They go, actually, you know what? I'm going to keep my hand down.
Speaking on, I think this is building kindness and love in the world. Inclusivity might be another word that we'll use. How do we like to build inclusivity in our gym? And it's something that it started from the very get-go, something that we started doing with our members, and now it's just spread like wildfire.
Massive fist bumps.
Whenever anyone walks in the gym, it's just boom. And people going out of their way to do the rounds of the fist bump before going into their warm-up, which I'm just like, this is amazing.
It's almost like picking the clothes up out of the bathroom after you had the shower. Like, you can't leave the gym without giving it
Little bang
a
bang.
bit of a clip. It's actually like starting to grow now. Like, I'm throwing out a couple of hugs. I'm Pac-Man a few people as well. I'm mixing up the little like coming in for the fit.
Yeah.
Hey, that's actually a big one. Let's dive into this, because
Talk to me.
this is huge. This is a play. I've got my theory. I've got my structure and how I approach this. I never lose. The awkward handshake. You know, when you're coming in and you go to throw it, and it's either like, it might be someone you've just met, or like you've seen them at the gym once or twice, and you go in and the hand's open, you're going in for a handshake, and they come in and their fist is closed.
Our gym specifically.
You can go our gym, or you just go in general. Like, you can go a bit more personal touch if you want.
Who breaks?
How do you handle it? What do you do? Because you don't want to fall into that, and you start doing the little like playing scissors, paper, roll off, and then you're like fucking weird, and then you grab onto their little pinky finger, and then they're like
semi-fist
a little stamp, and then it's all fucked up. Like, you can't come back from that, and then you go home and you go, fuck, how am I going to come into this next time when I see him? Because they came with a fist bump.
Oh, then you start changing who you are.
And then you start changing. You go, I always go in with the hand, but now that they've fist bumped, I know when I see him next, I'm going to go in with that. Yeah. But you know, they've gone home, they're sitting in the shower being like, maybe I don't fist bump anymore. Maybe I need to go in for the handshake. And then you might come in and you've gone opposites again, and it happens again. And if you do that twice,
It's game over. You can't ever see that person ever again.
no, you can't. They have to leave.
I take charge. You got to lead, right? So if I'm walking in there,
So you go hand up first.
100%. But I'll catch people, you know, like as I know they're about to turn to greet me, I'm like, yo, what's going on? And it's already up.
Oh, so you've already got it. You've already got it cocked.
Yeah, and you got to give them an opportunity to see what's going on, and then come to the table with the opposing fist.
right.
Yeah. If you like address them verbally, right, and you're having a bit of a yarn as you're coming close to each other, that's when the opportunity for a hand could go up like this, or it could go like this. You might even just get hit. Who knows? Who knows? It's that unpredictability that I don't like. So I try and take control.
So you come premeditated. You already know before like going into it. You don't wait until you do that. Hey, like, how's it going? And then you like follow after.
Get the fist up.
Get the fist up.
Save the potential awkwardness, and then the only change for that is Brookie, because we just always slap up.
Man hug. Yeah, slap up. Yeah, I'm good for a slap up too.
Which I rate as like that happens with him, but with everyone that would be a lot. Well, be a lot of
I've expanded that to maybe like 3 or 4 people. But like, where's the line? Like, how do you know when you start doing that? Like Brookie's
good because Brookie takes charge with it.
Brookie takes charge. He comes in and
I feel like a boy.
His body language, it's there. Like he hasn't got the handshake up. His hand's actually facing like more back towards him. Like, it's like,
yeah, he's ready.
You meet me at 50, brother,
and I'll pull you in.
And I'll pull you in, bro. And that's where it ends up. I'm all for. I want to quickly like slide mine in here. I'm all for. You just don't break. Like, I'll go in, I'll play it right to the end of the line, bro. Little conversation, be like, oh shit, I didn't even dab you up, brother. And I'll come in like this, fist closed. And they come in with a hand like this.
Yeah, fuck.
And I don't
keep holding
fucking blink, dude.
Just keep holding it, 100%.
I don't blink. And I'm like, you change, motherfucker. And then they go like that, and they go, oh. And then they change. I'm like, I'm not the weird one.
You're the one that's changing position.
I changed nothing, bro. And you don't get into that weird position where you start doing this little spray, little octopus or something, the octopus here. I just come in like that, and then they hold. And if they hold for a bit, I don't budge, bro. I don't budge, and I just go in with the slapper. And I reckon the fist is just, unless you're meeting someone for the first time, you're like introducing, fist is a go. It's in and out. It's quick. It's simple. Because sometimes people shake hands like heaps weird.
And their whole...
Sometimes.
I think the fist bump is great. And this is actually like, I know we're taking the mickey a bit here, but it's actually it's such a cool little binding agent between everyone.
It's a gentleman's agreement.
I see that, and like all the ladies do it in the gym as well.
Completely neutral.
It's neutral, but it's like a little sign of respect of like, I know you're here getting your shit done. I'm here getting my shit done.
Dab up.
We're going to have a chat throughout this session as well. And it's just a perfect little icebreaker.
You dab up. It's so neutral. Like you can do that, guy, girl, anything, a little dab up.
Yep. Sometimes hit on the side.
A little side too, like you put a little bit of steez on it.
Yeah. Some people got swag when they do it.
Yeah.
They look like a bit of a kook.
Yeah, so true.
I want to dive into some of the benefits of having a community around you. This idea of having a circle of people. And it's so great. I think, we're working in with 60 plus people now. And it's like that circle, that seems like a big circle for people, but it almost feels like that. It does feel like that, where there's tight-knit groups within that for sure, but it's like we have this big circle of people where people feel trusted and they can rely on one another, and they find so much comfort in that space. But I love seeing like the proper friendships that have formed. And I want to start with ours because I had date night with Taylor last night, and she was like, it's pretty crazy. Like when you think about, like, you and Jaden only have known each other for like 3 years. And I was like, fuck, fully. It's like we ran that event with Coon Dog over there, the big fella,
himself.
And Jared, and it was a charity event, which we've spoken about in the past. But like from that moment, I just feel like we have developed a relationship that's far more profound for me than almost every other relationship in my life. And that's
100%.
a 3-year period. And really, it's only probably been like the last 2 years where that's like really been like that.
And I definitely put our friendship and the value of it higher than business, which some people would probably think it's contradicting or not a good attitude to have, but it's who I am, it's who you are. I don't really give a fuck. And I think we're like breaking that down too. Like people always talk about don't go into business with friends. I get why, like I can see why. I know we've had things in the past that we've had to like process and go through. But if I just had a business partner doing this, I reckon I'd be pretty miserable.
Yeah.
With the amount of shit we've gone through, like we always bring ourselves back we fall back on our friendship. Like when we were getting in like to the height of where we're getting stressed, we went out to Kinney Pub and sunk like 10 beers. And like watched the footy and like got a feed, and we come back to why we did what we did, and that's because we're just mates who just want to have a crack and have fun. The same like me walking up to you on that day, I was full intimidated, but I was just like, just have a crack, like similar people. And when I look at that even now, like even the people in the gym, yes, they're members at the gym, but pretty much all of them are friends now. Like there's a couple of weeks ago, we went out to dinner with Brooke and Kylie. Like we went out and got dinner. We do weekend events. We go and get coffee with these people. Like it's not just, you're a member, that's a business transaction. We'll see you in the gym. Besides that, see you later. Like I hang out with these people as friends now, which is amazing. And I think that just shows how important a community aspect of training really is. Like the training part in the gym's what brings you together, but in terms of what keeps you together, it's that atmosphere, it's that friendship, it's being a part of something, it's having fun outside of it. Yeah. And we're so lucky that we've been able to be a part of that and have that in our space too, because it's awesome, man. It's wild.
I think that's another thing that stems from us. Like I think members know or notice the relationship that we do have. And it's like we can take the mickey out of each other, have a good laugh, but like we're getting shit done at the same time. So yeah, I've probably never said it to you, but I'm really proud that the worst case scenario out of taking on this business venture and putting all of our fucking money into it is that I've come out with a killer friendship.
Completely agree, man. Likewise. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
Nah.
Unless that big red, $2.
$5 hits.
$5 hits, right? It's always the way, just 100.
Brookie and, touch on Brookie, but Brookie and Lukey is a friendship that I fucking love. Kylie as well. So Brookie and Kylie together, then Lukey, as part of our gym, and they've been with us from the start. And just seeing like that, I don't know, it's almost like brotherly sort of role model that Brookie is for Luke, like, and how much Luke is just come into like the man that he is. I've been fortunate of working with him for, it must be 4 years now, maybe more. And just seeing like different transitions that he's gone through, but to like now just the bloke that he is. And I know a lot of that, and it's the same for a lot of people, has come from being around the right people in your life.
100%.
You can be around people that bring out a really bad side of you. And if you don't get onto that early enough, your direction in life can be completely different to what you want it to be.
That's why I don't think the amount of time that you know someone matters nearly as much as the quality of time and who they are.
Yep.
Is like Brookie and Kylie, for example, I've known him 12 months. Lukey, I've known 12 months. I met him through us opening the gym.
Yeah.
You knew him before that, but I feel like I've known them for years. People would probably look at us and think that when they find out we've only just really met before opening the gym, they go, what?
Yeah.
Because it seems like we've known each other forever. Like I've had close friends growing up that I don't spend as much time with now and I'm not as close with, versus got still people in my life who, even, some of my best mates who I met later in life and how close I am over such a short period of time. It really matters on who the person is and the quality of time rather than the length.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a scary period, like leaving school and leaving the friendships that you've had for the past 6 years. But I think it's such an exciting period because it's like, now I can choose who my values actually align with. Because you know yourself better at 18, 19, 20 versus 13, 14, 15. You're going through all those changes. You're trying to work out what is life, like what the fuck's going on here? How do we get through this? But as you go through more experiences and get older, like you start to establish what you stand for, who you are, who you want to be around. And it's scary because you got to make changes. Like there's people I don't hang out with anymore that I used to spend every single weekend with, but I'm completely fine with that because I know the people that are in my life now are by choice and are not by chance.
You figure out what matters.
Yeah.
You definitely hone in and figure out what matters. I completely agree. Brigger, I want to end you on one. I got a question for you relating to training a little bit. So this is drifting a little bit from what we've been talking about, but it's cool. It applies to how we approach with our training, and I think it ties in really well with what the style of programming and the training that we're following now.
Yep.
Do you think that individuals should be including some form of power or plyometric based exercises or training into their program?
Yeah, I do.
And why?
Because hybrid life 101. No, I think being good across the board at a range of different modalities and fitness capabilities is important if you want to live a long and healthy life. How we can do that, the plyometric continuum, which I know you're all over, but that's probably the best point for people to start, and probably do it with a coach. Definitely do it with a coach, but to start to establish where you're at on the continuum of like really beginner based loading principles versus the upper end of that, which is more advanced. But I think you should have them in there. It comes down to what you're training for specifically. That's got to be number one. But I think like if you're training for quality of life and like general health, I don't think it's a bad idea to have that in there. Like even if like you trip over and you know how to catch yourself, like that is so true. Under it. Dude, when I was playing rugby, I'd get tackled and I would know how to or I'd jump for a footy, I would know how to land. But like kind of subconsciously because it just kind of came to me. But from the training that we had done leading up to being able to perform in season, I would definitely think you should have it in there.
I completely agree with you. It's something that is very much used in the athletic space and performance space for good reason. It's very much a fitness component and the skills that people need to possess. I think from when you're looking at the longevity standpoint, when you break it down and you look as kids growing up, like we sprint, run, hop, jump, tackle, like even just playing sports. But we do all these movements and people think I stop doing those because I get old, but it's the reverse. It's you get old because you stop doing those things. People get an injury or they get a stack of injuries and they go, oh, no more, and they stop it. But you can change the environment in terms of which you're doing those things. Like it might not be being on the footy field now because it's an open-paced environment. It's too unpredictable. Yes, you might get hurt because it's things that are out of your control. That doesn't mean you can't implement those things into your training in a controlled fashion where you're the one who's in charge. You can control the intensity, you can control the volume, the amount, and you can control external factors. So even older people, us as well, but for the standpoint of like bone mineral density, like having stronger bones, being able to absorb force like that. One of the biggest killers, especially for older people, it's a catalyst, is falls. Is losing balance and falling, like breaking hips, breaking knees. And then it's like a cascade of health problems from that.
Yep.
Like the ability to learn how to just absorb force, the ability to learn how to produce force, the ability to then produce force quickly or continuously. Like they're all basic fitness components. And I think a big part of what I want to focus on doing, and that's what I've been implementing into the gym, is starting to break down that idea of, these types of exercises or this way of training is only for athletic populations.
Yep.
Everyone else should just focus on, basic strength exercises.
Yep.
I think a large part of what you should do is from your strength training, is from the controlled exercises, not jumping, not running. And I think exactly what you said, you should work with a coach to make sure that you're monitoring volume and you're performing them correctly. But I think it's so worth investing into your program and doing. And I think the best way of starting, if people are wanting to look at, okay, this actually sounds pretty cool. Like I'd love to, I miss sprinting, or I miss being able to like jump, or I'm actually really scared to like absorb my own body weight or just land. Like, how do I do this? Plyometric Continuum is a very good place to start. I'm pretty sure it was designed by Wilmot, who essentially like broke it down in terms of the stages that you can go through. And it's super, super easy to follow. And it can even give you examples with exercises too. So essentially the basis of it is that you learn how to absorb force first, then you learn how to produce force, then you learn how to absorb and produce force together, and then you learn how to do that in a continuous or shock-like method.
Yep.
And then you can start to implement ways of doing it with like single leg or unilateral work as well. Different vectors in terms of, going from horizontal to vertical, and you can make it as complex as you want, but as simple as best, So people want to find out more information. If you're looking at that with your program, if you're not following a program, start to dive into something like that. Look at the Plyometric Continuum. Look at how can I start to introduce very basic power exercises, because there's a lot of misleading information on social media now, and people throw up all these crazy fucking exercises to make it look like really cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. Like jump with 2 feet forward, jump with 2 feet up in the air, land with 2 feet, land with 1 foot, make it very, very simple, and just start like slowly implementing it just at the start of your program.
I was going to say, would you recommend just people start at the base of that continuum, and if they can master the exercises in that first little phase, give the second phase a crack? Would you prefer someone doing it with a coach there?
Obviously prefer always with a coach to ensure they're doing it right. But if you're starting and doing it yourself, especially with the continuum, start with the absorption phase. So learning how to absorb force. So it might be stepping off a plate or even like a little step and then going up to a box and then doing that 2-legged. Make sure you're landing nice and firmly, nice and confidently, and then do that single leg, or slowly increase the height. Do that for 3 to 4 weeks. Once you feel like you're confident on that, move to then being able to produce force. Start with like doing a box jump or even just like a jump squat. So standing in the same spot, jumping up as high as you can, sticking the landing.
Yep.
So make it super basic, make it super easy in the sense of performing. Like don't make it too technical that you go, I want to start introducing power training, and then you go and try and teach yourself how to do a snatch.
Yeah.
Like I don't even snatch because the technical proficiency of it I haven't learned, so I don't do it.
Yeah.
But you can do things of learning how to do that, even for upper body power, like throwing a medicine ball at a wall. Like that's power. It's pretty straightforward. You hold a ball and you throw it. Like it doesn't have to be difficult, and don't think that the more difficult it is to perform, the better it is for you. Often the more simple it is to perform, the more you're actually going to train the fitness component that you're trying to train, so you will get the adaptation from it.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, if you are going to implement your plyo work, take baby steps with it. Get a coach for sure. But I say take baby steps because like I know my shins didn't handle more of that advanced plyo work. So I actually had to pull back my training and strip it back to more that beginner to intermediate. And then I'm now back there, which is great. But just be mindful for sure.
And start it when you're fresh. If you're going to implement it into a program, definitely start it at the start of your program, not towards the end when you're fatigued.
Yeah. All right, to wrap this up, we didn't even talk about it on last week's episode, but we are 1 year old.
Huge.
Which is crazy.
That's crazy how quick that's gone.
I know.
Months down the hatch. How good.
So we always tried like every Saturday do a run club. So getting the community in our gym together outside of the gym, still fitness based, obviously, and movement based. Run, walk, ride, whatever. On the weekend, we had our 1 year barbecue, which was awesome.
Huge.
Yeah.
Wild scenes. What's going to be in store for us in the next year, coming into the next year after?
Well, Jane and I we caught up for a beer last week, and
Just one.
And yeah, we spoke about this, and as intentional as a lot of the things look that I do, I don't know. Like, I just do things. I just take life as it comes, and I take business as it comes, and when opportunities pop up, we assess them, we take action on them if they seem like the right thing to do. So I don't know, in regards to what's coming up for us,
we're going to keep on keeping on. I think we're just nurturing what we have and not getting too far ahead with where we want to go. Like, we're obviously ambitious, but I think we nurture that with what we have. We don't want to lose the focus of giving to the members that we have, and we're just doubling down on how we run the gym, our service, our systems, our automations, everything like that, and making sure that we're running a tight and smooth ship. So
yeah,
I think we're just working on our relationship of enjoying it too, like finding a bit more of balance with business and making sure that we remember it. Like, coming up on that 12 months and even having that weekend of getting together and training and having a barbecue and getting people around it, like, it's fantastic. But I'm looking back, I'm like, 12 months already, like, fuck. Like, that's a big chunk of time. Like, 1 year is a big chunk of time. And I feel like when I question myself, how many times have I been truly present and looked and been like, holy shit, like, we're actually running a gym. Like, it's cool to say out loud, but actually sitting and internalizing that thought and realizing, I definitely think that's something we want to keep focusing on, is just enjoying it and being present when we're there.
Yeah, I don't want to get lost in future plans all the time, because I think it's so important to have the direction that we're heading in, which we are. But I think what we're both really good at is executing. And what is working well right now is what we just want to continue to execute on, let us grow organically. We do have things in sight for sure for the future, but we approach them as they come.
Could not agree more, man. Could not agree more. I love it.
Thank you for listening to these two ugly heads. We'll see you on the next episode.
See ya.